Now, nothing sells a video game to the masses quite like the promise of realism and immersion, because who amongst us doesn't want to escape reality and disappear into a rich, teeming game world? And though tireless pursuits of photorealistic visuals has certainly become a divisive subject in the current period of relentless games industry layoffs, it's nevertheless evident that the average player will still be drawn to games that both look and feel real. And that's what we're here to talk about today. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 of the most realistic PS5 games. Number 10, The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is the summation of everything that Naughty Dog had worked on prior to its release. For while the character models are some of the most impressively believable in gaming history and the diverse environments feel staggeringly lived in, it's the deeply human storytelling which takes it to the next level. Whether you ultimately vibed with its bolder storytelling choices or not, The Last of Us Part 2 showed human beings in all of their stripped down, raw ugliness in ways that few video games ever have. And even more than that, it achieves the impressive feat of making its plentiful violence feel absolutely nauseating. For as expertly designed as the combat is, there's nothing sexy or particularly even fun about taking down hordes of enemies, and by the end of its 20+ hour playtime, there's a good chance that you'll feel completely sick of killing people. That the NPCs tout some of the most advanced AI routines and expressions the medium has ever seen sure doesn't hurt either. Number 9, Death Stranding. While Death Stranding's more out there supernatural elements are of course the furthest thing from realistic, the meat of the gameplay experience is one of the most breathtakingly authentic you can experience on PS5. Now, it's often said half-jokingly that Kojima cooked up the world's most advanced walking simulator with Death Stranding, given its mesmerizingly photoreal environments and the painstaking manner with which players must traverse them with hefty cargo. Boldly, the combat ends up feeling like an afterthought compared to the environmental navigation, where knowing which route to take and how aggressively to organize your wares becomes a brilliantly infuriating puzzle. It so uniquely captures the thrill of taking off into the wilderness on a hike, albeit with the considerably greater peril involved. All the same, you can practically smell the sea air and feel the sand between your toes when trudging through the game's world, ensuring Kojima has left one hell of a high bar for the impending sequel. Number 8, Gran Turismo 7. Now, it would be remiss not to include a racing game on this list, and on the PS5 there's simply no racer more realism obsessed than Gran Turismo 7. Per the racing simulator's lineage, GT7 retains its predecessor's emphasis on mind-bogglingly photorealistic vehicles and environments, combined with tight handling that, with a steering wheel, basically feels like the real thing. But you can actually take things to another level if you've got the PlayStation VR 2, or more likely a friend with one, given that the game has full-fat VR support. The result is nothing short of astonishing. It's the closest thing that you'll get to feeling like you're in a racing car for real, but on a PS5. While Gran Turismo's famous commitment to realism isn't to all tastes, hence the popularity of the more arcade-friendly Forza Horizon franchise, it's an absolute godsend for petrolheads craving the most immersively true-to-life experience possible. Number 7, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Now, though nobody believes that Avatar's world of Pandora actually exists for real, though I'm pretty sure most of us wish that it did, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is such an eye-wateringly beautiful visual feast that it's incredibly easy to be seduced by the illusion. Though Frontiers of Pandora adheres to many of the open-world Ubisoft tropes that we've all grown very tired of over the years, this is mitigated somewhat by the immersive qualities of this world. To call the game a looker is quite the understatement indeed. Every square inch of Pandora depicted in the game has clearly been tirelessly laboured over, ensuring that even the most insignificant piece of flora or fauna feels like a tangible, living thing. In a gaming generation that's felt relatively underwhelming so far in terms of technological advancement, Frontiers of Pandora offers up a true next-gen visual experience, courtesy of Ubisoft's killer Snowdrop engine. For the game to come within spitting distance of the lifelike qualities of James Cameron's Avatar movies is no small feat, ensuring that while the story and gameplay are relatively familiar, you'll want to spend hours in this lush game world regardless. Number 6, Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus is one of the most realism-focused video games you'll ever play. Even though it doesn't offer a fully open world experience, the hub locations are truly stunning creations in their own right. Exodus is one hell of a handsome game, and only made all the more impressive to behold via the free PS5 update that released back in 2021. While it can't match the scale and scope of, say, a Fallout game, it leaves Bethesda in the dust when it comes to its visuals. visuals, with its realistic weather patterns and disturbingly photoreal depictions of a post-apocalyptic landscape. Furthermore, the HUD is integrated into the game world itself, ensuring there's no barrier placed between it and the player, and the level of detail that 4A games put into even the most basic movement animations was flabbergasting. In a game that's all about the minutiae of survival, the many little details really do add up. Number 5, the Callisto Protocol. Now, the Callisto Protocol may have proven relatively divisive upon its release, but the spiritual successor to Dead Space is nevertheless one of the most stunningly lifelike video games ever released, and certainly so in the survival horror genre. Now, the gorgeous dingy environments and perfect lighting effects are one thing, but it's the detail of the human characters that really takes this one over the top. Developer Striking Distance Studios boasted pre-release that the Callisto Protocol would feature the most realistic human models ever featured in a video game, and honestly, it is tough to argue with that. Hell, he even went ahead and ray traced the characters' eyeballs. Combine this with the game's deeply immersive no HUD experience, just like Dead Space, and it's little surprise that many players assumed the initial gameplay reveal was actually a pre-rendered bullshot rather than genuine in-engine gameplay. As fantastical and heightened as the game itself might be, the moment-to-moment character visuals and movement feel astoundingly true to life. Number 4, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, it was just a matter of time before a CD Projekt Red game showed up on this list, of course, and The Witcher 3's 2020 next-gen update made an already transfixing masterpiece even more engrossing. The continent is simply one of the most slavishly believable open worlds ever conceived, dripping with detail no matter where you go. But because eye-popping scenery isn't enough, the quests and characters are so brilliantly detailed dense as to make everything feel truly alive, which is a rarity even in the most studiously engineered open world games. And even though PS5 players sadly can't benefit from the incredible bevy of realism mods available on PC, that a near-decade-old game continues to feel this richly, pervasively tangible no matter how gaming has changed, well, it's a monumental achievement. If you want a vibrant, lush game world to drink in, The Witcher 3 boasts wonders aplenty regardless of what you're actually doing in-game. Number 3, Alan Wake 2. Even accepting that it's a decidedly not realistic survival horror game narratively speaking, Alan Wake 2 was an undeniable landmark for its almost unsettlingly lifelike visual details. Benefiting massively from Nvidia's coveted ray construction technology, every aspect of the game's aesthetic design, from the lighting of environments to the finer intricacies of characters' skin, is unfathomably rendered in painstaking detail. But perhaps the most impressive thing about Alan Wake 2 is how seamlessly it blends live-action video footage with in-engine gameplay. The in-game recreations of actual human beings proving true enough that it's not always immediately obvious when a transition has actually taken place. Given that the game is hardly a monstrous AAA behemoth budget-wise, though it certainly wasn't cheap, its accomplishments are all the more laudable, using its note-perfect rendition of realistic lighting conditions and human expressiveness to make the horror within that much more unnerving. Number 2, Cyberpunk 2077. Though Cyberpunk 2077 isn't universally beloved like The Witcher 3, there's little denying the utterly hypnotic allure of its open world. Night City is easily one of the most detail-packed locales featured in any video game, such that despite transpiring in a world far flung from our own reality, getting lost in the teeming metropolis is basically effortless. Whether you're playing at 60 FPS or 30 FPS with ray tracing enabled on PS5, every facet of the game world feels like you're able to reach out and touch it, well, that is, except for the screen being in your way and all. Even as obviously detached as Cyberpunk is from basically everything that we know, as a rendition of a cinematic dystopia packed to the gills with living, breathing human characters, it passes the sniff test and then some. Although to be fair, sniffing Night City probably isn't that good. I mean, there's vapors everywhere. Years removed from its launch foibles and further enhanced by the brilliant Phantom Liberty update, Cyberpunk feels so physically palpable you might even feel a little sad that Night City isn't a real place. And number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2. Though we're sadly still waiting for an official next-gen update for Red Dead Redemption 2, playing the game on PS5 does nevertheless offer some minor performance boosts, making one of the most immersive video games ever made all that much more real. It goes without saying that RDR2 offers up an almost inexplicably believable open-world sandbox for players to explore, but beyond that is also packed with an ungodly amount of tiny details, from the extensive NPC behavioral routines to a fully functional animal ecosystem, scientifically accurate lunar cycles, and even the need to regularly clean your weapons. Hell, the sluggish, even clunky manner with which protagonist Arthur Morgan controls actually left some fans complaining that Rockstar made the game feel too realistic for its own good, ultimately coming at the expense of the fun factor. It is nevertheless a testament to Rockstar's basically peerless commitment to the finer details, and it goes without saying that their upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 will almost certainly earn itself a spot on this list. the next time around. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 of the most realistic PS5 video games. I hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Instagram, where it's at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there, and I hope that you're treating yourself well, my friend, with love and respect, because you deserve the bloody best, all right? And do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. Go out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.